Now, it's no secret that Monacy is joining Falcons, and we've already talked about that a few times on this channel, but one thing that we haven't talked about enough is the person that he is replacing, and that person is Degster. Now, in my opinion, I think that Dexter is one of the better awpers in the tier 1 scene right now, and I do genuinely think that he wouldn't have been cut unless it was literally Monacy replacing him, so it's just a little bit unfortunate. So I want to take a dive into this recent Bucharest event where he got the MVP and look at a few highlight performances and talk about how I think Dexter deserves better, and we'll get to that right after a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by SkinsMonkey. Now, if you're not familiar with SkinsMonkey, this is a trade site that allows you to take some of the old and crusty skins out of your inventory, and you can actually trade them in for something a little bit new, a little bit shinier than what you have right now. And it's really easy to do this, actually. All you need to do is log in through Steam, pick the skins that you don't want to use anymore, grab the ones that you do, and then click trade. All trades will pretty much happen immediately, and any balance that you don't use in your trade actually stays on the site for you to use for any future trades that you decide to do. And right now, if you use the link in the description, you can actually get a 35% deposit bonus, and that's good for up to $100. So let's say you deposit $100, you would actually get $135 on the site if you use my link. So make sure you check out SkinsMonkey, and let's hop right back into the video. So here we are, we're going to be on the semifinal matchup versus FaZe, and we're starting with a nice movement play for Dexter. He's going to be going for a pick. Now, one of the things that I do want to talk about a lot in this game is how Dexter is actually a very good awper. He goes for a lot of aggressive picks. He does like to play very similar to the likes of Monacy, but he also knows when to play ultra passive, somewhat like Shiro. So again, we see this here. He makes a movement play, he gets into ladder, and the reason, of course, that he's doing this is because he doesn't have to risk getting spotted and peeked while he's blind up here, and he's just a lot safer. And he goes for this off-angle pick towards top mid. That way, if Rain gets curious, he will be getting opt. Now, he does just hit the brakes right away after this pick. He's going to wait here for a long time, so we'll talk about something else in the meantime. Now, I know that I just criticized Falcons recently, and, well, I've actually just been criticizing them in general, but I made a video on the channel called Can't Monacy Save Falcons? And in that video, I was ultra critical on the team play, and I didn't think that they could keep up in a lot of those hectic games. And then they turn around and won the tournament. First of all, they proved me wrong, and second of all, in that video, I also talked about how I didn't really feel like Dexter was the reason that they were losing in that game. And watching these games a little bit closer, you can actually see that, here he gets his kill by the way, you can actually see that Dexter really isn't the win condition of Falcons, which is actually pretty unusual for a lot of teams in the tier 1 level. If you look at a team like G2, well, I mean, not now, but before when they had Monacy, it was mostly just, well, did Monacy pop off? Did the Star Riflers pop off? Then you win. If not, then you're not going to be able to compete. Same thing with Vitality. If you have Zywoo going beast mode with the op, you're probably going to be winning. But it's very different where you see that Dexter is not going to be forcing these kinds of fights. He's very passive. Like, look at this round. He barely moved out of spawn. He jumps into ladder. He sits here for a minute. Then he drops window and sits here for another 20 seconds. He doesn't really feel like he has to run around a lot, but he still is willing to do that. It's all just based off what the team wants. And in this instance, the team needs him to play passive and hold lines. But in the next round we're going to talk about, he is going to go for an aggressive play. We're actually just going to skip right to it. As you can see here, he's going to be running in towards connector. This is going to be a mid play. He's playing for the team, and he is designed in this strat to be the one taking fights. Taking the connector Molotov and going for this underpass pick, completely catches a liege off, and he goes for one more, and he's actually gonna find it before getting traded through the smoke. But again, this is something that if I take the name tags off, you would probably assume that this is somebody like Monacy, and maybe it even is him, but it's not. It's Dexter, which is why I think that it doesn't really make a ton of sense for Dexter to be replaced on Falcons unless it's Monacy replacing him. It's like one of those where you have somebody who's really good, but you have somebody that's just better in almost every single way. So it's like, I mean, it is what it is. You're going to be picking him up. But again, it just makes me a little bit sad because I know that Dexter deserves better. Now, you might be surprised while you're watching the video that we're not actually watching the grand final, but that's just because G2 didn't really show up to play. And I think that we got a Dexter MVP performance in this series versus FaZe. So we're going to put the narrative aside for now. We're just going to give a classic Austin CS demo review. We're going to talk about Dexter round by round here and break down everything so that you can learn. And we're going to start with this round here where he's going to be starting in towards ticket. Like I already mentioned, Dexter is the definition of a role player when it comes to being an awper, and he just gets it done. He's going to be holding this line for Magisk underneath balcony, but Falcons themselves are running a very default strat. We have, of course, Magisk getting baited for under balcony. Dexter's holding ticket. He can actually pivot. This spot is very strong. If you're an awper, I highly recommend playing in this area if you ever get the chance, because if you go window, you're probably going to get smoked off, and going jungle just, I mean, mean, what, you're holding Palace, I guess, and then maybe the cat split. Not the best, definitely not my first pick, because you can do both of those from ticket. As you can see here, we'll watch Dexter as he maneuvers around, but it's just overall a better spot for you to be in. And once we get the information that FaZe is in mid, Dexter's going to take this gamble to come post in towards this connector smoke. All is pretty standard. Now, after he gets flashed off here, I will say I would have liked to see him be a little bit more cautious of an awper posted on him, because typically, if you watch any other map, they have this op duel where one awper gets flashed, and if he tries to repeat, the awper will be reposted on him. I'm surprised that didn't happen in this instance, but now that Dexter is re-established, if Brokey were to peek him, he is right there, by the way, if Brokey were to peek him, I have no doubts that Dexter would probably just flick him and take care of him. With that being said, though, FaZe is going to go for the split. Dexter's going to hit this nice flick onto Rain before trying to sneak away here. Now, he's kind of caught between a few ideas. Once Magis kills the guy that came out sandwich, Dexter wants to peek and stay alive. And Dexter should have died to the sandwich guy, and he knows that he was probably caught. But now he needs to get away. Watch what he does here. The decision making is pretty good. He wants to throw a smoke for himself. Not a bad idea. The smoke would land triple, and he would be able to jump up on top of Ticket looking over it. But once he sees Frozen peeking him, he immediately switches over to his op, and now he just knows that there's only one person alive. He doesn't need to go for a kill. If you were in this position, you'd probably be hunting him, but that's how you lose your op and don't have it for next round. Instead, Dexter's just going to patiently wait before taking the last kill. Again, a lot of things that you can learn from him. I highly recommend that you watch a few of his POVs from this specific tournament, because I really think that he's just ultra solid. So starting this round over from the beginning, I want to talk about the setup for Falcons. It's a very similar setup, but there is one small difference that makes it really cool, and that's Dexter is opping A by himself. But why is he by himself? It's because our A player, who was under balcony last round, is actually getting boosted for in ladder. Now, this is a small thing that you probably would never see, but in tier 1, these kinds of things happen all the time. We're cheating the fact that our A player could be here, but he's not, because he's hiding in towards ladder. Now, the reason that this works is because if FaZe run a very similar strat as to what they did last round, well, they're probably going to see Testis is cat. They're also going to expect Nico to be con, Dexter to be posted from here, just like before. And since they see that, they'll go, well, it's the same round. Maybe they're going to want to go cat this time because Magis killed that guy sandwich, remember? So maybe the Kerrigan will be like, oh, let's mid-round up cat. And that's where Magis will be waiting to catch them off guard. Again, a lot of things that are going on at the tier 1 level, and I just drew a bunch of mess on the map that you probably don't understand. The point of this is that Dexter is solo A, so he has to be a little bit more reserved. Now, if you didn't see that lineup, what he did was he jumped through that smoke off the wall to go into Palace. Why did he do that? He did that to fake as if maybe Magis is still here. Palace is smoked, very standard for an A player to do that. And there was an extra smoke in spawn. Now Dexter can pick that up and he can do whatever he wants with it. I don't know why he doesn't have it. Is it glitch? Anyway, so Dexter does have another smoke. He picked it up. It just wasn't in his HUD. A hit is going to come in. He's going to hit the first kill, and he's going to use this extra smoke to keep himself alive. Now, this is just, again, one of those things that you have to do if you're by yourself. A lot of you guys would probably be fighting to the death here and full panicking. He is not. He throws this smoke for himself, looks over the edge, doesn't see anything before deciding, again, he's just nading, trying to stick around, look for anything he can find. Now he's going to respect the smoke after going for a few more shots. He's going to back up. He does go back. I've watched around a few times. He goes back, but he sticks around a lot longer than I thought he did because he has backup. All of this is to say, you shouldn't be smoking CT. By the way, we've talked about this a bunch of times as well. You shouldn't be smoking CT because look at how hard it is for these guys to take CT when CT is smoked. Please stop smoking CT. Everybody thinks, Austin, why aren't you making CT smoke tutorials anymore? Because it's not meta. The A player literally throws it as a defensive smoke. They throw it as a defensive smoke, so you can't take CT, so the retake is easy. Stop throwing the CT smoke. Anyway, so he's got backup now. He's just going to be playing his life, running away. He needs to reload his op. And I know I'm more of a caster in this round than anything, but just understand the decisions that he's making are very good. He's sticking around A, uses that extra smoke. This is all something that has been designed by the team. This was drawn up in theory. They run this round consistently. He's throwing that smoke to make it look like Magisk is still here. Picks up the extra one. That way he can get a kill and then live forever in CT. They can't take CT on him. He does stick around a little bit longer than I would have liked, but I don't think that really matters. He was probably feeling it this game. I mean, look, he's already 12-3, so I don't really hate that. But again, it all adds up to be a pretty good round for Falcons. We're going to look at another round here. This is just going to be Dexter going in towards window. Now he's just going to go for a bunch of just timing shots through the smoke. This one, Nico is actually going to jump out to get into connector just in case anyone's running up fast. They can still see. Dexter's going to actually blow the smoke to check for the same thing in towards top mid. Doesn't see anybody creeping creeping through the left side, so he just goes for a spam. He wants people to know that he's here, and well, I bet Rain knows he's here now. Now Dexter's going to reposition to his favorite spot, which is Ticket, but not before throwing this palace smoke, just again to continue to pretend like nobody's A. But this time Magisk is pretending not to be A when he actually is A. Remember last time when Dexter threw that smoke off the wall? A lot of you guys were probably thinking, well, if he throws that every time, then maybe Magisk isn't there. Well, what about if he throws the palace smoke from back here? Anybody could have threw that. Magisk didn't throw it, but now you would think, oh, see, you see, it gets tricky. Pro teams think about how you think, and now they're hiding at somebody in towards A and pretending he's not here. I like that, don't you? Anyway, so he goes back towards Ticket. The round just kind of goes from here. We'll skip ahead. Dexter's going to pick up this M4 that he dropped for himself in spawn, and he gets one more kill, and that's the half. A 14-3 half. Moving on to the T side here, we have an aggressive idea. Dexter is going to come here and hold for some con aggression. Nothing ever really shows up, but after he sees the top mid smoke, I think he calls for some sort of play here. Maybe it was out of spawn. His teammate is actually throwing a nade for the top mid smoke. You see it's in the air right now, but I think that since he saw the trajectory coming from bottom con, he got a little spooked. So instead of going for the pick through the top mid smoke, for reference, this is what I mean, I think that they've instead just decided that it's a little bit risky, I'm going to back up, which is no big deal. It happens. The play doesn't always go according to our plan. Now after that, Dexter is going to turn into a line hold awper. Think about the same thing that he did on CT side. He makes this aggressive play in towards the ladder, and he's just going to post for the rest of the round because he can. He plays aggressive to get here, and once he's here, he stays aggressive. Same idea here. He's going to be posted in towards connector here so his riflers can do whatever. Think about this. Right now, window is smoked, so nobody can peek that. But if Kixon wants to walk up connector, or if he wants to walk up cat, not necessarily in this instance, but whatever. If anybody tries to peek from connector, they will be punished by Dexter. So they can walk up very, very safely and not have to worry about that. That's, again, the idea. Now, it's very normal on the T side to have an awper that does this. It's just basic team play 101. But again, we'll talk about it in the context of this round. Dexter's going to be posted window. So for all intents and purposes, basically window is smoked right now, which is going to make Nico feel very comfortable to walk out. The idea, again, being if anyone peeks, Dexter will kill them. That's the idea. It's like a piece of utility. Now they're going to walk up connector and bottom con at the same time, but not before they're going to give them a little bit of trouble here. They molly just to make sure nobody's right side window, and then Brokey's going to go for a little flash play. They're a little re-aggression from FaZe. Dexter spots the flash, takes down Brokey, gets away. Again, this line hold idea we've talked about plenty of times. One of my favorite examples is from overpass. If we pretend that this is long right here, long A going up towards A site, which is over here, just for reference, the awper would actually come and hide behind this rock while the riflers would scale up. This is long bathrooms, again for reference, and there would be an awper that would be posted behind this, and the awper would post behind that rock again, so that way the riflers could scale up without having to worry. That's basically the same idea as what's happening here. He's holding windows so his riflers can go up and they can save utility, and it's overall a very complicated. It's not that complicated. I'm just nerding out for no reason. But anyway, after they've realized that FaZe is no longer in mid, they're going to walk up in towards connector. The A split has been called for, and Dexter is very, very, very aware of the possibility of somebody being right side window in the smoke, so much so that he actually catches Rain as soon as the smoke fades, and then they're pretty much going to win the round without any dramas after that. But again, this is just what I'm talking about. Dexter has almost an infinite amount of value this round by going for the opening pick, getting the info, and then allowing his teammates to progress, and also holding the flank while they're going in to end the round. Now you're probably getting a little bit bored of me hitting on the same topics over and over, but let me show you why you need to do that. Here we have the example of Brokey playing this round, very similar to how Dexter did. He goes for his kill, he needs to Smokey sticking around. Again, we saw Dexter do this exact same thing, but once it's a 4v2, Brokey is a little bit more aggressive than I don't actually get this play. Remember, Dexter was playing back here and holding for the push. I mean, yeah, he was still fighting, but he was farther back to where he could fall back, and he had backup coming. And so does Brokey. Like, Kerrigan is here. Like, it doesn't, you don't need to do this. The only thing that you're allowing by doing this is exactly what happens, which is Dexter going for this play and finding you, and not only finding you, but finding the op. And let's not forget, this is the awper, and he go. You see, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why you can't have somebody making those kinds of mistakes on the team. When I was talking about how I really appreciated how Dexter was playing, this is why. Like, it seems obvious, but how is it that Brokey is making such an egregious mistake? And yes, sure, whatever, FaZe is going to win the round regardless, so maybe we don't care. FaZe likes to play exciting, and I get that, but look at this. Look at the implications. Their money is cooked because they lost 2 more players. This would have been a great round for FaZe to get their finances under control, and now look at how much they have after the bye. I mean, this is just, again, like, all from Brokey just going USP out behind the ticket booth. Like, it actually doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why he's done that, but either way, we move on to the next round here, and this is, again, we're going to see the money problem is going to hurt FaZe. Now, this is actually not a FaZe demo review, but I just want to talk about this because this is going to hit to my last point, which is that I think that FaZe should really consider picking up Degster. Here we have another round that's just going to be, again, just standard. Rain's going to die, going for a kill, and Brokey is going to stick around here. He's playing behind the molly before Dexter just eliminates him from the round, and then Kerrigan also tries to trade. Now it's a 2v2 again, and even though it looks really close, Falcons is actually not going to be able to pull this one off, and we have 2 alive again. However, look at the money. It's still not very convincing. After the buy here, FaZe not going to have a lot of residual cash. Keep in mind, if they were to lose this round, they would have almost nothing to fight the next round with. Well, I've got bad news for you, because FaZe actually do end up losing this round, and Brokey wants to save this up. He realizes very soon here that he actually cannot save this up, so he's going to, again, realize that the money is really bad for Falcons still, and he's going to actually get rid of his op from the round. There's nobody going to be using this one next round, but more importantly, look at this. Look at this. You think that I'm just being dramatic talking about the money problem? No, I'm not. One mistake that cost you 2 extra lives, and now you have no money. Not to mention this round where you died and Kerrigan died trading you. Those 2 deaths did not need to happen. Let them plant the bomb and go for the retake. And now, because you won the last 2 rounds with only 2 alive, look at your buy. It's 10-10. Look at your buy. What is this? This is what I mean, though. All of this is to say, I love Brokey. I really do. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great awper. But if Dexter's on the market, I don't really see a case for why they wouldn't be at least curious. Maybe not before the major, but after the major, like, I don't know, man. Like, we'll see. They'll make their own decisions, but that's just what I think. Which is going to bring us to the last round that I want to talk about in this specific game, which is going to be more aggressive mid stuff. Dexter's just looking for this mid push, and actually he is going to spot a Liege going for this jiggle here, and then he's going to back up, and they're going to reset, holding for the mid push. Then Kixon's going to call them back into late mid, and Dexter's going to lead the way. Again, not afraid to go first in any capacity, but once he goes first, he is now going to hold lines for his teammates. I'm just hitting on the same points here yet again, because that's really just Counter-Strike at the end of the day. He's holding for everything, making sure that nobody is cat. 30 seconds now, and they know that they need to go A. The split is good. Unfortunately, they lose their lurk, but they don't have time to be safe anymore. They just have to send it. It's getting really dicey. They know that there was somebody in towards Palace. Dexter's trying to hold that line. They know it's possible he could have jumped fire, so he just throws his Molotov here. Now Kerrigan, trying to play fast and aggressive, is going to actually get her jumping out of window. Now Dexter knows he's here. So we're in a really interesting situation where Dexter just has to make sure that they are safe from connector, because Nico can't really do that right now. They need to get the bomb down, and it's very dicey, and eventually Kerrigan is actually going to give his life over here. The bomb is going to get dropped, though. If he would have waited just half a second longer, we might still be in this round, but bomb is on the ground, and Dexter knows it's his turn to make the play. And so if I were to take the name tag off and tell you you're watching Monacy from here on out, you would probably believe me. Jumps towards Tetris, hits this last kill, wins the series versus FaZe, goes on to get MVP at this event, securing his first big trophy, Falcons' first big trophy, and gets immediately benched. Dexter deserves better. He really does, but you guys can let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys made it this far, make sure you guys leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys also tell me what you guys think about bringing back the traditional Austin CS demo reviews that aren't necessarily storytelling and just round by round dissection. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys as per usual. Much love as always, and I'll see you guys very, very soon.